Hey everybody, it's Nicole again. I hope you're having a good day. I know we've discussed attending college and different ways that you can do that. We talked about going to community college and transferring to university if you have not, if you're out of high school already or you didn't graduate from high school. And I know that cost is always what we always think about, but there's actually a lot of options out there to help you pay for college, especially the first degree you get, which is your bachelor's degree, and also especially if you're low income or you're the first in your family to receive um, to go to college. So there are a lot of options. I know that in the last video I did in episode 2, I talked about free programs at different community colleges, and there are multiple across the country where it's high demand careers and they're looking for 2 to 3 month certificate programs, and they pay for it all and you jump right into a career. There's other ways you can go to community college for free. It just depends on the state basically you live in and different options. So FAFSA, the FAFSA, free application for federal student aid. You fill this out every year and you select the schools that you want the government, the FAFSA, to send your financial information to, and they will submit it to those schools, and the school financial aid office will look over it and plug in the numbers and see what your need is and how much you're able to, based on your income taxes or your parents' income taxes, how much you're able to contribute to your education. It's very generous, and like I said, usually the first 4 years are covered with the Pell Grant. If you're not a dependent of your parents, if you're married, or if you're filing your own taxes as independent and you're not living with your parents, you're going to get more help with the FAFSA than you would if you're not. But if you're not independent and you're still being filed as dependent on your parents' taxes, then they will it'll go on there based on their income. So if you're low income and your family's low income, then your chances are pretty good of getting some grants. Now, grants are what the Pell Grant is. That's from the federal government. Grants you do not pay back grants. You pay back loans, but you do not pay back grants. And the goal is to not have to take out any loans. So this is the federal option, which are the grants, and this FAFSA, and it gives the schools all of your financial information. It's all verified through the federal government, and the school will then work up a plan for what they offer you as far as their own grants and scholarships, and then what you get from FAFSA, and they'll work it out and they'll give you what used to be called a student aid report, but now I think it's called SAI. It used to be SAR, so student aid something, and it tells what you're obligated to pay, and so you can make those decisions before you enroll if you want to make those decisions prior to enrolling. You fill this out every single year, like I said, for the next year. So you can see up here it says 2024-25 FAFSA form is now available. Recently they've been filling them out in October the year before, so it would have been October 2023, but they changed everything this year with this form. When I was going to school, we filled it out in like March or April of the year that we were going to school. So as long as you have this in, financial aid can work on all of it. So let me just show you kind of how it works. It's pretty easy. It's self-explanatory. So you can check out your FAFSA deadlines for the state you live in. So the 2024-25 school year is what starts in the fall. and let's say we're in Colorado and you find the deadlines. So it says Colorado state deadlines. Contact your financial aid office. Check with the financial aid office at the college or career school you plan to attend for information on available state aid and deadlines. So that's from the state. The federal deadline is June 30th, 2025. So it gives you all the way till next year to file for this school year. That's a little complicated, but I would say file as early as you can. The earlier you file, the more opportunity your school has to offer you financial aid. There's scholarships and things like that. I can see here that there's this little chat and the little bot that you can ask questions to. Okay, so start a new form. Okay, now if you have not created an account before, which we'll just say that for the case of this that you haven't, whether you're a student, a parent, or a borrower, you need to create your own account to apply for, receive, and manage your federal student aid. So you must have an account to do the following: to fill out the application, complete other online forms, master promissory note, that's if you're getting loans, review the federal student aid you've received. You'll need your social security number, if applicable, and your own email address. So what you have to do is submit this personal information here, and it's pretty simple. Well, they ask you a lot of questions, but it's not like difficult. And what they do is they say, we're gonna give us a few business days, and we're going to look over your information, and we're going to send you an email, basically a verification email, and it has your ID, your student aid ID. They call it, let's see, what if I don't have a social security number? I'm a parent or spouse of a student who is applying. I am a citizen of the freely associated states who needs, okay. I do not have an SSN. I am a citizen of freely associated states, and I do not have a social security number, or, okay. So maybe I don't believe in federal you can receive aid. I'm not certain anymore. If you don't have a social, but the states all have different rules according to how they fund. So also, I'm not like a legal expert in any of this. I'm just showing you kind of how easy it is and where to go to look for these things. So a little disclaimer there. So, okay. So anyways, they're going to send you an email after you submit all of this, and they'll send you an email saying, okay, we have your information, you're verified. And then there's a number. I think it's called the, let me see, FSA ID. So Federal Student Aid ID. Now, I got my first one in 1998, and I still have the same one. So I'm applying for my daughter right now who's going to college, and they're still using my FSA ID from when I was 18 years old. So it stays with you forever, and it's based on all of the information they have on you from your social security number. So let me see, without doing that, if I can, yeah, it's still student aid report, it's still calling that. Let me see if I can kind of show you guys with the form. No, I can probably, sorry. Yeah, so it tracks along the way, learn about the report, check your status, and then you work with the financial aid office at your school or schools, and they get this information directly from the federal government, and then they figure out with you what you can afford and things like that. Let me see if there's a image so I can just show you. This is how it used to be. We used to fill it out by paper. So that doesn't really help you right now, but what you're going to do is, they might have some information on here. Let me see. What you're going to do is enter your parents' tax information, or your parents will enter their tax information from when they filed their taxes this for last year. So like right now it's April 2024, and I would enter the tax information for 2023, the ones we just filed in January or February of this year. And that's how they base it on your income. Let's see if it just tells you some more information. I'm just kind of looking around here. So the Pell Grant, who's eligible? Federal Pell Grants usually are awarded only to undergraduate students who display exceptional financial need and have not earned a bachelor's, graduate, or professional degree. So you're basically your first 4 years of school, and you do get the Pell Grant if you go to community college as well. I would try to work with a community college about what kind of free and really low cost things you can do, so you don't use up all of your Pell Grant money that you can be using at university. In some cases, however, a student enrolled in a post-baccalaureate teacher certification program might receive receive a federal Pell Grant. Additionally, you may be eligible to receive a federal Pell Grant if you are confined or incarcerated and enrolled in an approved prison education program, or are subject to an involuntary civil commitment upon completion of a period of incarceration for a forcible or non-forcible sexual offense. So many people think that if they are incarcerated, or if they, have been convicted of different things, that they cannot get grants, that they can't go to college, and that's not true. You need to be honest with your answers, and there are programs, and there's no rules against um, convicted people being able to go to college. How to apply: you can start by submitting the application. Schools use the information on the FAFSA form to determine your eligibility for a Pell Grant, and if so, how much you are eligible to receive. You will have to fill out the FAFSA form every year you're in school to stay eligible. And so, let's see, it tells you here, award amounts can change yearly. The maximum federal Pell Grant this is for last year and this year, it looks the same, $7,395 for the 2023-24 award year. That's July 1st through June 30th. It's the same on this coming year. So they divide that $7,395 if you get the maximum based on your need, which is your income, and they divide that by your semesters. And that's how much you would get. And so your expected family contribution, or your student aid index, student aid report index, the amount you get will depend on your expected family contribution based on your parents' taxes or your taxes. The cost of attendance is determined by your school for a specific program, your status as a full-time or part-time student, and your plans to attend school for a full academic year or less. When you attend full-time, you get more, and you have to at least attend part-time to be eligible. In certain situations, an eligible student can receive up to 150% of his or her scheduled Pell Grant award for an award year. For example, if you are eligible for a $2,000 Pell Grant for the award year and are enrolled full-time for both the fall term and spring term, you'll likely receive $1,000 in the fall and $1,000 in spring. However, under certain circumstances, you may be eligible to receive up to an additional $1,000 for attendance in an additional term within that year, resulting in receiving 150% of your original award, which would be $3,000. You might hear this situation being referred to as year-round Pell. So, like I said, the financial aid officer, the financial aid advisor at your school will be able to help you with all of this. Yeah, Iraq and Afghanistan service grant. If your parent or guardian was a member of the U.S. Armed Forces and died as a result of military service performed in Iraq or Afghanistan after the events of 9/11, you might be able to get Iraq and Afghanistan service grant for the 2023-24 award year. If your parent died while serving active duty in the U.S. Armed Forces or as a public safety officer, you may be eligible for additional Pell Grant funds. The funds go directly to the school and it pays the school fees off, and then you get what's left over in your bank account to spend on taking care of yourself and trying to get through school. How to maintain a Pell Grant. In general, you must maintain enrollment in an undergraduate course of study at a non-foreign school to receive a federal Pell Grant. You will fill out the FAFSA every year, and you're in school and stay eligible. Once you have earned a bachelorette degree, or your first professional degree, or have used up all 12 terms of your eligibility, you are no longer eligible to receive a federal Pell Grant. That's why I said try to put it off as long as possible so you can, because you can receive up to 12 terms. You do need to continue a certain grade point average to maintain your grants. So you need to continue to do well. And then there's a federal student aid estimator right here. So you can just play around with this, begin to estimate your federal student aid. Okay, so what's the student date of birth? Let's say I'm just making that up. Unmarried. Is a student's state of legal residence. We'll just say Louisiana. When the student begins the 2025 school year, what will their grade level be? First year freshman. Let's look at the student's personal circumstances, which could affect how much federal aid they may be able to receive. Eligible. Does the student have children or other dependents they support? I'll just say yes, but if you have, I'll say no, sorry, but if you have dependents, then that's accounted for in what you're able to pay. What are the student's personal circumstances? Student is currently serving active duty. At any time since the student turned 13, they were an orphan. No living biological or adoptive parent. At any time since the student turned 13, they were in foster care or ward of the court. The student is or was a legally emancipated minor or in a legal guardianship. The student is unaccompanied and homeless. None of these apply. I'll just say this one, unaccompanied and homeless. We're just going to provide the student's family size helps to determine the amount of federal student aid they may be eligible to receive. How many people are in the student's family, including the student? Well, family size they live with. If they live with the student and will receive more than half of their support from the student between 2024 and 2025. The student's spouse, the student's dependent children, even if they live apart due to college enrollment and other dependents. So we're just going to say that it's just you, just like one person. Did the student file taxes in 2022? We're going to say no. Okay. These results are based on a new method, the Student Aid Index, a number used by a college's financial aid office to determine federal student aid eligibility. This estimate, SAI, doesn't reflect the changes accounting for inflation to the SAI calculation approved in early 2024. So here's estimated federal student aid, $18,876. Federal student aid from the U.S. Department of Education helps cover expenses such as tuition, fees, books, supplies, food, housing, and travel. But it is not the only source of funding for the student's college costs. Scroll down to the other factors to consider section to see some additional options that may help this student lowering their college costs. So this is the Pell Grant. That's the maximum. We saw $73.95. Then maximum available direct loans, $9,500. And then work study, $19.81. I mean, work study is good, but if you can get an actual job on campus, you'll make more money than that. SAI is an eligibility index that the college's financial aid office uses to determine how much federal student aid the student would receive if the student attended their school. Okay. SAI estimate will be updated. Okay. So cost of attendance, grant, scholarship, and federal work study, student aid, and aid offer. We've talked about this. Create an FSA ID, and then you fill out the form. So let's see. There's a little video on types of federal student aid, which are grants, scholarships, and work study. Right here it tells you. Scholarships, many nonprofit and private organizations offer scholarships to help students pay for college or career school. This type of free money, which is sometimes based on academic merit, talent, or particular area of study, can make a real difference in helping you manage your education expenses. Your financial aid advisor can also help you learn about where to find those scholarships. And then work study jobs. The federal work study program allows you to earn money to pay for school by working part-time. You'll earn at least the current federal minimum wage. However, you may earn more depending on the type of work you do, and the skills required for the position. Your total work study award depends on when you apply, your level of financial need, and your school's funding level. And then loans you have to repay. So aid for military families, aid for international study. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff on here. Aid from your state government. Other than federal aid, you might be eligible for financial assistance from your state. Contact your state grant agency for more information. Aid from your college or career school. So the schools might themselves, like the free programs I showed you in the last video, that's aid from the school and from the state. So right here, like we pretended we lived in Louisiana. So there's the State Department of Education, Higher Education Agency, Special Education Agency, State Adult Education Agencies. There's a lot of things that can be done. The best thing for you to do is to be really honest and open with the advisors. Let them know if you have been informed that you have any disabilities, if you've been diagnosed with anything, your living situation, your economic situation, and they will try to find you the most resources possible to pay for your college. So I just wanted to kind of let you know that there's a lot of help out there. This money can be used for an entire year for you to live while you go to school. If you have to take a loan and then, you rent a bedroom from somebody, and or half a bedroom, and you know, you pay for your living expenses. You take this $18,000 and you divide it by your 12 months, and schooling will be paid out of this as well. So you're probably going to have to work and do a part-time job. There are jobs on campus that pay for students, or you can do jobs that are around the area of the school. So there are a lot of options. I don't want you to be discouraged in thinking, I don't have any money, there's no way I can go to college. There's always a way. There's always options. And most people who go to community college do work outside of school, and they're used to that, and the teachers are used to that, and they understand, and they make it work with you. I worked a lot, and it was always a struggle to get things done. I have a lot of student loans, but I don't regret it. There's programs for you when you have a when when your income is low. So I'm not really affected too much by my student loans, but there are so many opportunities and for you to advance, and also just have the confidence in yourself to make good choices and have a better life for yourself. Okay, well, I hope you have a good day. I'll see you soon. Bye.